thought long and hard before deciding to do this video, but I felt it was necessary because we on YouTube make content and we give our opinions. The large majority of us who are focused on a specific topic for the most part. So in the case of, let's say, for example, the WNBA, you might be focused on Angel Reese. You might have a lot of content on Angel Reese. You might have, or if you might be focused on Caitlin Clark, you would have a lot of content on Caitlin Clark. I don't see too many WNBA channels that focus on the entire league because realistically, no bullshit, it doesn't sell. It doesn't draw viewership. It doesn't click. But at the end of the day, this is a business. YouTube channels are a business, which people seem to forget. There's a reason that the ESPN doesn't have lots of coverage on WNBA basketball when it's not talking about Caitlin Clark or Angel Reese, or when you're like deep in the playoffs, because otherwise people don't generally care. Even with women's college basketball, they don't cover it a whole lot, not until the tournament. So Jason Whitlock, host of Fearless, who I have a great deal of respect for Jason Whitlock. I mean, he's a guy that I've watched and read for many years. I mean, I used to read his stuff, and now you watch him on his podcast. Do I agree with everything Jason Whitlock says? Obviously not. I don't agree with everything anyone says. And are there things that I think he's way off the cuff on? Yeah, for sure. And that's everyone's entitled to have an opinion on different topics. But you know, he invited two you guys who are on YouTube. You know them probably by now. Jon the Liquidator, who has a large following on YouTube, as well as Ock Nation, Alpha, at Alpha Coyote on on Twitter X. So Ock Nation and Jon the Liquidator, who both have sizable channels on YouTube, were invited guests on Fearless. And my first response to that is awesome. That's so awesome. I'm very happy for those guys. I think that's an honor. Whitlock is a very well known guy. And to be included on a podcast, on his podcast, I think is a great opportunity for both men to grow their shows. Now, this is something that I'll tell you right now. Whitlock, you want to invite me on your show? I don't have a channel as big as theirs, but I can promise you this. I can go blow for blow with you, my guy, because what you pulled after this particular invitation to me was below the belt. And we're going to review the video that they were on with him, and we're going to comment on it. I do this with Stephanie White videos, and I'm going to do this here. So get your popcorn ready. It's going to be some fucking interesting shit. Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of Rudy's Rant, Her Game, Her Way Women's Basketball. We talk facts over feelings. I'm your host, Rudy Rodriguez Show Mott. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts. Love to hear what you got to say. And I will, like I said, I will comment on this for sure because I watched this video. This is not I'm not reviewing it blindly. I watched the video. I agree in large part with what those guys said. And I watch every goddamn Indiana Fever game. And I've been watching Caitlin Clark for years. And I coached basketball. So don't come at me with you don't know what you're talking about. We all are entitled to have our opinions on topics. But y'all let me know y'all thoughts as we go through this video.
Caitlin Clark brings the ball up court and just sits around or moves around or dribbles around the top of the key. And so when you hear Stephanie White start talking about the ball's moving baseline to baseline.
That's just not true. I'm going to stop him off the rip. That's just not true. Caitlin Clark is guarded from the time she touches the ball on an inbound pass. The ball does not just move across around the top of the key with Caitlin Clark. The ball moves the length of the court with Caitlin Clark. She kicks the ball down the court more than anybody in the league if the teammates would just run the floor. Just want to correct that.
And all this other, she's talking about we're making them defend the entire half court. Caitlin Clark, the way she plays, you defend the top of the key really hard, and because she ain't going. to the baseline. She's not going to cover the entire half court. She doesn't want to move very far from logo land, and because that's where State Farm wants her, and the whole marketing campaign, and it's where Ock and Jon The Liquidator and all the Indiana Fever fans want her. They want her out there by the logo.
I don't want her out there by the logo. So you're wrong. Again, you're just throwing shit out there that people want her to be out there. No, she's largely out there because her team can't set a fucking basic screen. She's largely out there because her team cannot set a screen. Every screen that's set by Leah Boston is typically a slip screen. It's a pick and roll with very, 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 very little contact on the actual player guarding Caitlin Clark. They switch off Caitlin Clark constantly on top of that. But let's continue.
They want to see the circus act. Jason Whitlock and Stephanie White want to see them win a championship. That's the only way they're going to shut up the Angel Reese crowd and all these other idiots that she can't win a title. She can't win a title. Well, there's a way she's going to have to play that will help her win a title and will help her build a resume where it will be undeniable that she's the best player in the WNBA and quite possibly the best player in women's basketball history.
Glad you said
I just cannot agree with that.
Okay, I'm going to stop right there before they even jump in. If Caitlin Clark is not the MVP, if they were to win a title, the same people that talk shit about her will continue to talk shit about her. She cannot be part of a winning a championship team. She has to be the reason that her team wins a championship. Not part, but the reason. There's a difference. She has to be the MVP. The same abuse and flack that Jason Tatum has gotten as the Celtics won a title, he was not the MVP. Jaylen Brown was. Twice, in fact, in the Eastern Conference Finals and in the NBA Finals. So no, it's not just about winning a championship. She has to be the reason. Period. If she's not the reason, all those people will stay on that shit about how she ain't the best player. They're still going to clown on her. What are you talking about, man? You know better than that. And look, Jason Whitlock may want Indiana to win because he's from Indianapolis, I believe, or he's from from Indiana, the state of Indiana. But the rest of us, realistically, we want Caitlin Clark to win a championship. If it's with Indiana or with Siberia, we want Caitlin Clark to win a championship. But let's continue.
Cannot agree with that motion offense stuff. I just can't because we've seen what Caitlin can do with the ball in her hand. That is what makes Caitlin Caitlin.
Oh, by the way, also, didn't Iowa get to the national championship back-to-back seasons? Last I checked, Iowa got to the national championship back-to-back seasons. They lost in the championship game, but they didn't lose because of Caitlin Clark. They lost because they didn't have enough players. They didn't have enough talent. They're too small. They also lost to LSU because LSU had the best shooting night of the season. A player that had scored 1 point in the or no points in the Final Four had 21 in the national championship and hit 6 threes or 7 threes. They shot their lights out in a game in which they never shot like that all season for LSU. Against South Carolina was just too big. And no one else stepped up. She couldn't do it by herself. And no one's sitting here saying she has to win a championship by herself. But she got to the national championship twice, which to me is a bigger feat than winning an NBA championship, a WNBA championship, in fact, if you want to be real. Because the teammates that she has right now in the WNBA, Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell largely, and Sophie Cunningham, are better than any teammates that she had at Iowa. But she's still the reason that people are watching Indiana play. But let's go ahead.
Them taking the ball out of her hand is messing up her rhythm. Hence why she's shooting below 30% from logo anyways right now, because they took the ball out of her hands. To me, Stephanie White need to let Caitlin be Caitlin. You want to know why the second half season was so great last year? Because Christy Sides said, you know what, Caitlin, you win.
Christy Sides just got the fuck out the way finally. That's really what happened, as John said there. And Whitlock doesn't seem to know that. They basically Stephanie Christy Satisfying just got the fuck out the way.
Just let you do you. And what happened? They went on a winning streak and they went on to seal their face to make it to the playoffs.
You know what? When
And-
you mentioned
Yeah, go ahead.
Alexander, it gave me flashbacks because I'm a Redskin fan, right? So he came to the
Yep.
Redskins in I think 2006, right? With his 700 page play, and he was supposed to make our offense so great. And let me tell you something, man. If you don't have Priest Holmes and you don't have Trent Green,
Willie Rowe,
the plays-
Brian Waters, Will Shields. Yeah.
They don't work the
three
same.
Hall of
The plays
Famers
don't-
basically on the offensive line.
Exactly. The plays don't work the same. His 700-page playbook. He was also with the St. Louis Rams when they were the greatest show on turf.
Yeah.
That's where he basically got his name as a consultant on that team. So you got to remember, Jason, you know this. There's X's and O's and there's Jims and Joes. Caitlin is a Jim and a Joe. Stephanie is preaching X's and O's. She needs to let the Jims and Joes go because that's what she told us in the press conferences when she was hired. That's what she promised to do. She got here, she rug pulled us, and now we're running this offense that, yes, okay. And when Caitlin's out, Kelsey can go 8 for 24, and you can still win a game. Then the next game, Kelsey she gets 35 points against Chicago without 3 of their starters. Then the next game, she has 8, and people online claiming that she threw the game. And she bet on her under. Kelsey Mitchell, this whole
That's not
notion
what happened.
She
That's
did
not
not
what
have.
happened. Is really. Yeah, hold on, let me explain what happened. Let me explain what happened in the last game. Kelsey Mitchell had an off night, recognized it, and did not force offense and let Aaliyah Boston, Sophie Cunningham, Ari McDonald, the Chloe Bibby, hey, I'm off tonight. I can see it. I'm going to do less. And then I got sat. She got sat for most of the fourth quarter. Hats off to Stephanie White. It ain't your night. Come sit down over here next to me. There was a self-awareness that I don't have to do it all. It's not my night. She only took like 10 shots for the entire game. But let's don't kid ourselves.
Well, today, Jason, she took 16 shots, and she was at 1 point 1 for 13. Kelsey Mitchell, she finished 3 for 16. She was 1 for 13 at one point. She did not sit in the fourth quarter. She kept shooting. Kelsey Mitchell, if she can't score, is otherworldly useless to this team. Her job is to score. That's literally all she can do. She's not a point guard. She's not a facilitator. She's a scorer. And there have been plenty of games in which Kelsey Mitchell, last year and this year, in which Kelsey Mitchell was just jacking bombs away. Shooting. Can point out a number of games in which she will shoot that ball until she is tired of shooting it. So her self-awareness, I don't know what self-awareness you're talking about. She was 3 of 16 today. Was she self-aware today? Was she self-aware when she took that top of the key jumper that went in, despite the fact that she was 1 for 13 at the time when she took it? Or 1 for 14 when she took it? I'm just curious because that's what she was when she took that shot. Because she has never seen a shot she doesn't like. And that makes her good, and it also makes her bad. Just reality. Just reality. Today, 0 for 8 from 3. Were you saying the same thing that you're just saying now? Or has the tune changed? Because I can show you a number of games in which this season alone, 7 of 19, 6 of 16, 4 of 16, 4 of 15, 5 of 16, 8 of 18, 7 of 16, 3 of 13, 8 of 24, 3 of 10, 9 of 19, 3 of 16. Like this is this season. This season alone. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 times in 29 games that she has taken a shit ton of shots and been very inefficient. But you keep at what you want to believe.
She's
That's not
she's
Kelsey
the
Mitchell.
highest scoring guard in the WNBA. And
Yeah, she is right now because Caitlin ain't playing. Right now she is because Caitlin Clark hasn't been playing.
she's played every game. You can't take that away from her.
No, but Jason, Kelsey Mitchell she's a shooter, she's a scoring machine. She doesn't miss
Yeah.
3 shots and say, all right, it's not my night. That's not her mentality.
That's what she
Like, what is
did the other night. She did. Go look at her first quarter. Go look at what
Kelsey
she
Mitchell
did
got
during
in
the
foul
game.
trouble that game. That's part of the reason why her points was like
she
that.
got into foul trouble late. She got in the foul. Go look at when she's actually on the court. She forced nothing. And again, I love Caitlin Clark.
So when she went 8 of 24, was she forcing shit? When she went 3 of 16 today, was she forcing shit? When she went 3 of 13 or 5 of 16 or 4 of 16 or 4 of 15 or 6 of 16 or 7 of 19, was she forcing shit? Stop, bro. You're wrong. She forces tons of shit. And you want to know why I know? Because I watch every game. And these men watch every game too. You do not. And you will not convince me that you do. You will not convince me that you watch every game. Because if you watched every game, you would not have this outrageous stance on Kelsey Mitchell.
But Caitlin Clark forces shots trying to heat herself
Kelsey
up.
Mitchell forces
And
nothing. Your narrative is that Kelsey Mitchell forces nothing and Caitlin Clark forces.
They got two different.
I'm literally laughing like you, Ak. I'm literally laughing like you are. He's sitting here telling you that Kelsey Mitchell doesn't force shots and that only Caitlin Clark forces shots. It's ridiculous. It's utterly ridiculous. That's just the silliest shit I've ever heard. Caitlin Clark from 2-point range shoots. Last year she was shooting like 55% from 2-point range. Last year she was shooting 53%. This year is not as good. She's had a rough year. And obviously she's been hurt. But she shot 53% from inside 2-point range last year. When she gets around the rim, she typically converts. But yeah, man. Okay.
Roles. One job, I'm a scorer. And so there's a different standard for forcing a shot as a scorer. Hey, I'm here to get.
Caitlin Clark led Caitlin Clark led the nation for 4 straight years in women's college basketball in scoring. Caitlin Clark is a scorer. She's got the point guard label attached to her. Caitlin Clark is a scorer. What? That's like saying LeBron James isn't a scorer. Because he also is very unselfish and passes the ball. You don't score 40,000 points in the NBA and not be a scorer, despite the narrative that's been shaped around him. The man's a scorer. Caitlin Clark is a scorer. Caitlin Clark scored more points in college than Kelsey Mitchell did. Caitlin Clark led the team in scoring last season, not Kelsey Mitchell. Caitlin Clark might play point guard, and her job is to facilitate the entire team, but she's a scorer. She's a scoring point guard, similar to some guy named Steph Curry. Steph Curry is a scorer. Just because he plays point, and mind you, Caitlin's a better passer than Steph. But just because Steph can handle the rock, he is a scoring point guard.
Buckets. Then I'm a point guard and I control and initiate the offense. And so you can't, forcing shots looks different to each of them because they play different positions and have different roles.
The only shots that Caitlin Clark might force are threes. She doesn't force layups. She doesn't force middies. She might take threes that you don't like because they might not be in the flow of an offense at that moment. She might take a three from 30 feet out just to take it. But that's what you're gonna deal with. You would like her to take less of them potentially, but that's what makes her her, and that's why you watched her. Whitlock, you wouldn't even be watching her play basketball if it wasn't for those shots that she takes from the parking lot. None of us would, because then she'd be just like every other WNBA player. Nobody gives a fuck about Sabrina. Nobody cares about Kelsey Plum. Nobody cares about these other players. Caitlin Clark did something that we've never seen, including you. You would not even be watching this shit right now if it wasn't for what she did in college and where she shot the ball from. She took 13 threes a game her senior year. 13. I'm pretty sure that's the number. Let me make sure. Let me verify this. Her senior year, 13.6 3-point shots per game. 13.6. 9.5 her junior year, 8.6 her sophomore year, and 9.5 her freshman year. She's been jacking threes since she's been in college. You think that's good? That's her game. And that's why you're watching it.
On the team. Anytime my shooting guard, and I'm pretty sure she took 10 shots the other night. That's self-awareness.
So you use one game as your fucking barometer for self-awareness. Kelsey Mitchell has 12 games where she shot 45% or lower. She's got 10 where she shot under 40%. And you're sitting here using an outlier of a game where she goes 3 of 10, has 5 fouls. Like, let's be real here. She had 5 fouls. And you said, and you know what? I'm going to verify this now because I want to confirm, because I'm good at confirmation of information. I don't like to people just throw something out there and say she got into foul trouble late because I don't know. I don't remember. I know what they said, and I'm going to look it up myself right now, and we're going to find out. So after looking it up, I saw that Kelsey Mitchell had 4 fouls midway through the third quarter. She picked up her 5th foul 20 seconds into the fourth, and she had 5 fouls for the entirety of the fourth quarter. That's actually what happened in that game. So it wasn't late in the game. It was I can give you the exact time, 9:50. So 10 seconds into the fourth quarter, Kelsey Mitchell picked up her 5th foul. Her 5th foul. And she came right out of the game at that point and did not come back into the game until 1:17 to go when they were up 9. I presume to shoot free throws if she was going to get fouled. So she picked up her 5th foul with 9 minutes and 50 seconds to go in the game. So you're incorrect.
That's self-aware. And that's all I'm asking for. And I don't blame Caitlin Clark for not having this self-awareness, because if I spent grade school, junior high, high school, and college, it didn't matter where I shot from. It was always a better shot than any of the 4 other girls out on the court.
So you're saying Caitlin Clark having lack of self-awareness leads to these turnovers, leads to these bad games? I just cannot agree with that, because she has to have self-awareness to see the floor, to facilitate the floor.
I'm saying her lack of self-awareness will cost them from advancing as far as they can from winning a title this year. She can be the best player on the best team in the WNBA and help this team win a championship, or she can continue to play like she did at Iowa, and you will love her, fans will line up, everybody's gonna love her to see taking the logo threes, but one of these other teams is going to eliminate them from the playoffs, and she'll continue to deal with the knock. And it's a knock. You can't win it. And I think it's stupid, but you can't win a championship with Caitlin Clark. She didn't win one in high school, which is pretty amazing. Now, I got to say this. Someone that good that didn't win a state championship in high school, that's pretty amazing. Because in high school, when you're that good and you're that much better than everybody, all you need is one. I've seen it a million times.
Not in girls basketball, Jason. Not in girls ball. That's not wholly accurate. Not in girls basketball. I don't know how much girls basketball in high school you've watched, but I covered it, and you may have covered it too. You may have covered it too. But I can tell you this: in girls basketball, if you're playing 1-on-5 all the time, and I don't know how good her team was in high school. She went to Dowling Catholic. Dowling Catholic. Let's take a quick look when she was on at that school, which I presume was around 2015 to 2019. I guess that would be accurate. I'm going to take a look at this thing real quick because let's go back to 2019, 2020. They were 19-4 that year. In 2020. Was Caitlin Clark on the team that year? Yes, she was a senior. And they went 19-4. They lost by 9 one game. They lost by 2 one game. They lost by 2. And they lost to Sioux City East. Sioux City East, damn, that's not a good loss. Wow, that's not a good loss. Let's see the year before that. They were 17-8. They lost to Southeast Polk. Southeast Polk was 20-4, and that was in the state championship game. So she lost in the state championship game as a junior. It looks like this is what the state championship is, from what I'm seeing, because it was the last game that this team played as well. So I'm going to presume that's the state championship. So she lost in the state championship as a junior. As a freshman, as a sophomore, they were 20-4. They lost to Iowa City West. This looks like, let's see when this was. Iowa City West. Okay, that was a playoff game. Iowa City West went on to win the state championship. So in 2 of her 3 years there, she lost to the state champion. And then her freshman year, 19-5 as a freshman. Was she on the team as a freshman? I would presume so. Yep, as a freshman point guard on the team. And they lost to Valley. Valley, that is at what point? Valley was 24-2, and that was not the state championship, but Valley went on to win the state championship. So 3 times in 4 years, the team that beat Dowling Catholic won the state championship. One of those times was in the state championship. So consider who they lost to. And yeah, you might be right that all you need is one, maybe in boys ball. In girls ball, if you're not very good beyond that one player, well, good luck. Good luck. Because I can tell you this, I'm looking right now. They were ranked 22nd as a freshman in the state of Iowa. They were ranked 9th when she was a sophomore in the state. They were ranked 3rd when she was a junior. And they were ranked 6th when she was a senior. You know, she didn't win a state championship as a high school player. It is what it is. I've seen lots of great high school players not win state championships. I've seen it. I've seen it. I've seen Division I, high level Division I players not win a state championship. Hell, the team that was loaded with for LeBron James's kid, Bronny, and all those beasts they had over there at Sierra Canyon, they didn't win a state championship. when Bronny was there. They did not. They did not win a state championship. And there was a lot of beast level players on that team. But let's continue.
I played high school football with Jeff George. We won the state championship.
Great. You're talking about the quarterback. You obviously went to a team that had talent. Did you win because of Jeff George by himself? Or did you have players around him besides? Because he can't throw the ball to himself.
Twice.
Now, Jason.
Again, you're not being completely forthcoming. Did you have receivers who could catch the ball, an offensive line who could block? You're comparing an apple to an orange. You're comparing football to basketball. I've watched tons of basketball. I've covered high school basketball for years. I've covered it for years. I can point out major players that did not win state championships. Jeff George was your quarterback. Who were your wide receivers? Who was your running back? Because he didn't throw the ball to you.
When you have, yeah.
Can I do this? Okay, so
yeah.
I'm not even gonna argue you about all the other things that you said. I just want to ask you this. Since now you're saying she needs to play off the ball. Let's just say you get your way, right?
I said 20% of the time. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go.
Hey, 20% of the time. 20% of the time.
Yeah.
During those, do you think when the players run for her, do you think that she should get a good screen or Olay screen, or do you think that when she comes off the screen, the player should look her off, or do you think she should get solid, eager screen set for her and the ball delivered to her so she can take a good shot?
I think they should run their offense and let the ball find the good shots. And
but she's
that
Caitlin
will
Clark,
happen
though.
for Caitlin Clark.
There's
other players that can get a bucket. There's other players that can get a bucket.
Who the fuck can get a bucket?
Bucket on that team.
So,
huh?
So with Steph Curry,
there's
right?
There's a girl named Kelsey Mitchell.
Steph Curry.
He brought up Steph Curry right here, but he never got to finish his statement on Steph Curry. I'll finish it for him. So when Steph Curry takes 17 3-point shots in a game, Jason, and he's bricking everything that day, do you tell Steph Curry to stop shooting? I'm just curious. Do you tell Steph Curry to stop shooting? When do you ever tell Steph Curry to stop shooting? I'm just curious. Let's go pull up Steph Curry stats from last season, just for shits and giggles. Just for shits and giggles, just to make his point, because I know what he wanted to go to, but he never actually got it out because they kind of talked over him there. But Steph Curry last year shot less than 6 threes one time. Sorry, three times. 3 times in the whole entire season. 3 times he shot less than 6 threes. He got games of 12, 15, 11, 20, 14, 13. So when he's 4 for 14 from 3, Jason, are you telling Steph Curry to stop shooting? How about when he's 4 for 13? How about when he's 4 for 15? Do you tell him to stop shooting? How about when he's 4 of 11? You tell him to stop shooting. How about when he's 1 of 8? You tell him to stop shooting. 3 of 9, 2 of 8. I love Steph Curry, but I'm just calling what it is. 5 of 14, 4 of 13, 5 of 13, 6 of 18, 6 of 20, 2 of 12, 1 of 6, 2 of 9, 4 of 12, 4 of 14, 2 of 14, 2 of 14. They won that game, by the way. Do you tell them to stop shooting? How about 3 of 11, 4 of 13, 2 of 9, 7 of 16, 0 of 6, 3 of 9, 3 of 9, 4 of 15, 3 of 10, 3 of 10, 6 of 15, 1 of 4, 4 of 13. Do you tell Steph Curry to stop shooting? The answer is no. You never tell Steph Curry to stop shooting. The ball doesn't find Steph Curry. Steph Curry finds the ball. He goes and he gets the ball because the plays are largely run for Steph Curry. The problem when Caitlin Clark is off the ball, nothing's being fucking run for her. If you're not paying attention, they literally throw her out there as a decoy to stand 30 feet from the rim to open up the spacing for somebody else. That is what happens when she's being put off the ball by Stephanie White. She's off the ball and out of the play. If you were watching her play every game under Stephanie White, you would see that. You covered. I don't know if you ever coached basketball. I coached basketball. She's literally used as a decoy. They're not running her off screens to free her up, to get her an open look. And even if they do, she's going to be guarded differently coming off of these screens because they're going to switch. They're not going to let her run off the screen open. So, like, for example, when Kelsey Mitchell comes off of a screen, nobody ever switches. The screen is typically set much more solidly by Aaliyah Boston because Aaliyah Boston knows that she's not going to get, or Dantes or whoever, Howard, because they know they're not going to get a pick and roll. They're not going to see the ball. Kelsey Mitchell's going to catch it, and they stand there because they're not going to roll off that screen because guess what? They know that they're not going to get the ball. Kelsey Mitchell's going to shoot it because the play was run for Kelsey Mitchell. It happens every game.
The leading scorer for all guards in the WNBA. She can't get a bucket.
You named one person else that can get a bucket. Can you run some?
Aaliyah Boston can get a bucket.
Get the fuck out of here. Aaliyah Boston cannot get a bucket unless fucking Caitlin Clark hands her the ball under the rim. Aaliyah Boston is a layup person. She can't make a jump shot outside 8 feet. That's not a bucket getter. You just called Aaliyah Boston a bucket getter? No, a bucket getter creates their own damn shot.
No, she can't. Aaliyah Boston can't get no bucket.
Aaliyah Boston can get a bucket on her own?
Let's stop this, man.
Aaliyah Boston can get a bucket on her.
You know what, Whitlock? You realize when you said that dumb shit, you put your head down and started laughing. You think Aaliyah Boston can get a bucket on her own. That's what a bucket getter is. A bucket getter isn't someone that needs a pick and roll layup, the ball dime down to her right under the rim. Aaliyah Boston can't get a bucket. God, most of her, look at her numbers without Caitlin Clark. She's barely efficient without Caitlin Clark. Her damn points per game drop without Caitlin Clark.
Wrong without Caitlin.
Jason, stop this DI stuff. Aaliyah Boston, you know.
See, he even knows. He's laughing so hard, he knows what he just said was complete dog shit. There's two people that can get a bucket on this team, Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell. There's two bucket getters. Everybody else in this team needs to have the ball set up for them. Everybody else. Howard, Aaron McDonald can get to the rim, but she can't get a bucket on her. She can't break somebody down and shoot a three over them. She's be left by herself. Sophie can't get a bucket. Lexi Hall can't get a bucket. None of these women can get a bucket. Kelsey can get a bucket on her own, and Caitlin can get a bucket on her own. That's it. But this is where it gets good.
Bucket. Aaliyah Boston is 60% from under the basket left. Aaliyah Boston.
You was cooking with Kelsey. He was cooking with Kelsey. Aaliyah, now you going off deep end.
Jason, Angel Reese is Angel Reese is better at layups than Aaliyah Boston.
Yes.
Would you what? What did you?
Angel Reese, the last month of the season, is
Can we
better
get
at
the
layups.
butter box back? Do we have the butter box? This man, what did you just say? Angel Reese is a better offensive player
of the WNBA season. Aaliyah Boston is worse at layups.
Bring back the butter box. Oh my!
John,
put the butter.
John,
do we have the butter box? This is insane. John, you know this. He's on the same drugs as Gilbert Arenas. He's on. John, you gotta agree with me here. This is crazy.
The last month, John, the last month you covered the WNBA. You followed Chicago Sky. The last month of this season, Angel Reese has been playing much better than Aaliyah Boston.
Way better.
Thank you.
Angel Reese has been playing better this specific month.
We're done. Stop the show. We're done. This is insanity.
All right, let's go a little bit deeper into this thing now that you've seen this whole thing. All right, let's go a little bit deeper. These are the statistics because stats matter. Aaliyah Boston this season is averaging 15.5 points, 8.2 rebounds on 54.4% shooting and 3.8 assists. Okay? Angel Reese, who I have said 1,000 times over, I would trade her straight up for Aaliyah. I would trade Aaliyah Boston straight up for her all day long. Because I think Angel Reese is better than Aaliyah Boston. Angel Reese is averaging 14.2 points, 12.6 rebounds on 44.4% shooting. Now, you got to consider the fact that Angel Reese is playing without a starting point guard now, without a starting shooting guard now, was missing her center next to her as well at one point for a number of games. The Chicago Sky is just not as good as the Indiana Fever. And that's a fact. Angel Reese is taking 11.2 shots per game. Aaliyah Boston is taking 11.3 shots per game, and yet only has 1.3 points more per game than Angel Reese does because she shoots at a little bit of a bit of higher percentage. Over the past month, and I did this experiment before. There was a period of time where this is Angel Reese, 18 and 17, 17 and 18, 24, 16 and 7, 16, 17 and 6, 22, 15 and 4, 15, 11, 19, 11 and 4, 22, 10 and 3, 11, 11 and 3, and 22, 13 and 3. That is the last. If you want to go back to this game before, we can calculate all this right now, and I'll do it right now for you. So I just took the time to calculate all this. Angel Reese over the past 10 games. I know she's been hurt. I know she's missed a few games, but over her past 10 games, her last 10 games, she's averaging 17.8 points, 14.3 rebounds, 3.9 assists on 48.9% shooting. These are facts. Aaliyah Boston is averaging 14.4 points, 8.4 rebounds, 4.4 assists on 45.1% shooting. That's basic mathematics. It's basic mathematics. Aaliyah Boston plays on a better team. She has better players around her. These are facts too. Angel Reese has been better than Aaliyah Boston for the past month. Their stats comparatively, Reese is a much better rebounder. It's not close. Aaliyah Boston is averaging 1.3 points per game. She shoots slightly better. She shoots better from the field. But over the past month, Angel Reese has been shooting almost 49% from the field, and Aaliyah Boston is shooting 45% from the field. That's a correlation to this. Caitlin Clark has not been playing. Aaliyah Boston's offense is largely created by Caitlin Clark. You actually can go look at the Seattle game that they played, where Caitlin Clark didn't play that well. But Aaliyah Boston went for 31 points on 13 of 18 shooting, and the game before that went for 26 points and 10 rebounds on 12 of 19 shooting. Who was on the court with Aaliyah Boston? Caitlin Clark. Aaliyah Boston's best games will always happen when Caitlin Clark is on the floor. Her game this year against the Liberty, for fourth game of the year, 27 points, 13 rebounds, 12 of 19. Her best shooting games come with Caitlin Clark. Her three best games, Caitlin Clark was playing point guard. She creates Aaliyah Boston's statistics. Angel Reese creates her own. You don't have to be a fan of Angel Reese. Angel Reese is tougher than Aaliyah Boston. She's more physical than Aaliyah Boston. She rebounds better than Aaliyah Boston. She has been finishing at a better rate than Aaliyah Boston over the past month. And if she continues to do so, well, if she's playing, because I know she has to deal with a back injury, she's going to finish probably as all WNBA second team. And Aaliyah Boston will not make either team. You can believe what you want. I've said it over and over again. Angel Reese is better than Aaliyah Boston. And I would trade Aaliyah Boston for Angel Reese head up in a second. This isn't a matter of opinion. This is a matter of data. Yes, Angel Reese has committed some turnovers. Yeah. You want to know what I don't do? I don't use the numbers that I don't want used against me. So if I'm gonna say you can't count the turnovers that Caitlin Clark commits, well, guess what? I'm not going to count Angel Reese committing turnovers because she shouldn't even be playing this point forward position as it is, which is greatly increasing her turnover ratio. But I think what Jason Whitlock did after is what I found to be tremendously distasteful, and I am not a fan of it. I like Whitlock. Like I said, I don't like how he did these dudes after the fact, basically making them sound like they're fucking idiots, and they're not. It's not cool. It's a bad look. And you can see it right here. You can see it right here. Here. I want to apologize to my fearless audience. I had no idea Alpha Coyote, AK, and Jon Liquidator would argue that Angel Reese was a better player than Aaliyah Boston. I'm embarrassed for them. I apologize. All right. Let's look at this. Fellow WNBA super fans, Jon Liquidator, Alpha Coyote actually said Angel Reese is better than Aaliyah Boston. I can't believe it. Well, if you've been paying attention, you would agree. But because you are stuck in a hate-filled world because you don't like Angel Reese and you can't be objective, you say stuff like that. Because if you were objective, you would believe that she's better than her because you've been watching it happen. But you're not, so you don't. And now he's sitting here saying you have content creators who would much rather see Clark win MVP than the Fever win a title. They are tied to Clark's success. Team success is irrelevant to them. I want them to win because of Clark. I want Clark to be the MVP. If Clark's not the MVP, then winning does nothing for her. I'm a YouTuber. Guess what, Jason? You're a YouTuber. You're no longer a writer. You don't write for the Kansas City paper or whatever paper anymore. You're a YouTuber. I don't want to hear that you write for Blaze. No, you don't write. You don't cover sports for the newspaper anymore. That's a writer. That's what I call a writer. You don't. You have a YouTube channel. You're making your bread off YouTube. You're maximizing your background on YouTube. You're a YouTuber. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. But don't act like they're beneath you when you make a statement like this, a content creator. What? And then he's saying, I'm not criticizing those creators. I feel bad about what the Matrix has done to sports fandom. Really? YouTube and social media algorithms have made content creators choose between supporting the Indiana Fever or Caitlin Clark. I never supported the Indiana Fever. None of us did. None of us did. That's what you're missing. We don't give a fuck about the Indiana Fever largely. We only care right now because of Caitlin Clark. If she's traded to Atlanta tomorrow, 98% of us are now Atlanta Dream fans. It's difficult, near impossible to do both. Most choose to support Clark because that's where the clicks and views are. Yes, that's where the clicks and views are. Try dropping a video on Brianna Stewart, Jason. See how many people watch it. Nobody will. It's called a business. And let's see. Jon Liquidator said, that he didn't say anything. It wasn't me. No, you did. You co-signed it. You owe. No, you don't owe anybody an apology. And then there's another one here. Co-signed. Lights got bright and JTL panicked and let AOC talk him into some straight foolishness. JTL doesn't have the clutch gene. You wouldn't talk me into shit, bro. I've been saying Angel Reese is better than Aaliyah Boston for quite some time. This ain't new. This is not new. And apparently someone said Mick is the guy, but I think he hates you. And he says, how come he a leftist? Look, you insult these dudes and you say this particular one really bugs me here. I don't even care what the responses are, to be honest. I don't think the fact that you would unsubscribe to their channels if they were true, but it's not. No, they did say it. They literally just said it. They did say it. He did say it. Ock Nation did say it. He did say it. If you watched it, he did say it. He said she's been better than her for the last month. Angel Reese is better than Aaliyah Boston. And if you actually watch basketball from a coaching perspective and not fanboy perspective, you can be objective. Hey, I've covered sports, not at the level of Jason Whitlock, but I covered sports for the newspaper from the time I was 21 years old. I'm 47 now. I started a website called InsideTheU.com under the ESPN and 247 Now banner. Wrote for Scout.com, wrote for Rivals.com. I mean, I've written for the Miami Herald, the Sun Sentinel. I've covered sports for a very long time. I had a gap in between, but don't let it fool you. Don't let shit fool you. I'm a pretty good observer of sports and have a pretty good eye for it. And having coached basketball for 7 years, coached soccer for like 4, I mean, coached football for a couple. Yeah, I'll take my opinion and I'll ride with it. But hey, Whitlock, again, mad respect. I think what you did was foul to these dudes at the end with these damn tweets. You don't have to agree, but to do all that, unnecessary. And I think you're wrong largely. So, hey, I'm a smaller channel, 11,300 subs, 3,000 people on Twitter. I mean, on Instagram. Give me a call. I'd love to be on your show. Let's see if you'll do me the honor. Help me grow my channel because you're a much bigger platform than I am. And we can debate this because I bring data. I don't just bring hopes and prayers. I'll have numbers sitting in front of me before we even start the conversation. Let me know y'all thoughts in the comments. I salute Jon the Liquidator and Ock Nation. Man, awesome opportunity for both of you guys. Congratulations. And y'all were right. He was wrong. Y'all won that debate as far as I'm concerned. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell. Leave a comment. This is Rudy's Rant, Her Game, Her Way Women's Basketball. Come on now.